Welcome to part 9 of this video series on finding meaning in life. Today, we're going to focus on, can you manufacture meaning? Can you use the mind to create connection, meaning in your life, and a sense of purpose? And this is the one where I feel like if you're lacking meaning, like myself, and you're trying to find meaning, you're kind of in this place where you're choosing between, do I create meaning? Do I actively try to find more meaning, connect with stuff, use my mind to create narratives around what I'm doing so I feel that connection? Do I need to proactively go after it? Or do I discover meaning? Do I let meaning just happen? Does meaning just become a byproduct of a natural connection with things I find meaningful? So this is an interesting topic and a challenging one to summarize. So I'm just going to go through my exploration into using the mind to create meaning, where I think it's good, and then where I feel like it can also keep you stuck, be a bit of a trap. So myself, I rely a lot on my mind to create narratives. I'm very good at reframing stuff. I'm very good at creating stories in my mind and analyzing the stories I tell myself to try and find alignment with what I want. And I spent a lot of time with Stoicism, with cognitive behavioral therapy style work, and really piecing together the narratives my mind tells me, or at least I'm aware of them and somewhat conscious of what they're doing, or at least I have enough awareness to see the narratives my mind creates. So on some level, if you think about how to find meaning in life, we can think that meaning is some form of story. If you think of it as something meaningful, it means like I'm connected to the story of my life, the story of what I'm doing. So if that's true, you would think that the mind would have a big say. So for example, if I could get my mind to tell me that what I'm doing is really important, if I could drill into my mental operating system, this is meaningful, I'm enjoying this is leading to a big goal, this is really important for me, you would think that that would be able to manufacture meaning, to create meaning through the act of the mind is telling me this is meaningful. All right, and on some avenues you can, especially if you've got a negative way of seeing the world and you can learn to see situations from different perspectives. You can go from the world is very scary, challenging, I'm not good enough, to, oh, the world is actually full of options, lots of things are happening. You can learn to accept things a lot better. You can create narratives that allow you to create more meaning. All right, so the way I look at it, we've got 3 ways of viewing any situation. So let's say something happens to you. You can either have a neutral lens, which just means, yeah, I'm indifferent, doesn't matter. No main story, but you're not too bothered about it. Then we can have a negative framing. This is bad. I didn't like this. Generally, something happens you didn't want, you lose money, a business idea doesn't go through, someone says something to you that you don't like. Yeah, we have this kind of negative framing. All right, so that's the second lens. And the third one is a positive lens. This is happening for me. This is towards my goals. Yes, I got what I wanted. This is nice. This is a sign that I'm on the right track. All those kind of narratives. And on some level, they're all around the mind making meaning, right? Because if we look at it, everything's neutral. Everything's kind of, is the glass half full, half empty? It's just how we frame the situation. So let's use an example. Let's say I post this video, and I would like this to get 1,000 views, and it only gets 12 views. Now, is that bad? Well, my mind wanted 1,000, and if I felt attached to that, my mind could easily go, Adam, what a waste of your time. You got 12 views, you lose it. So now my mind paints that bad. All right, so I could easily create a negative story around that. Or I could say the inverse. I could say, oh, well, 12 views is better than 0. Great, good job, you helped 12 people. Imagine having 12 people in a room and speaking to those 12 people. You could have a really good impact on those 12 people, and that's very meaningful. So I could have a very, very positive 12 better than 0. So it's a positive thing. So I could create a good, meaningful story. Or I could be quite neutral. I could be like, yeah, put the video out. If it gets 1 view or 1,000, I did my thing, did my dance, did my expression in the moment. I'm okay with whatever comes back. All right, so you can very quickly see with a lot of your behaviors, if not all behaviors, you're creating these kind of likes, dislikes, and sometimes like you're neutral. You don't really mind. And I feel like with the mind, if you're in a very negative framing, you think of everything of negative, why is this happening to me? You're in a victim mode, which I call. You should definitely spend some time learning to think more positively and see things at least more neutral, but ideally more positively. And that will generally have a really big impact on your experience of life. Going from the victim to, oh, I'm not the victim. Life's just happening, accepting things, letting go. And I feel like I've spent a lot of time on that. I've learned to accept things out of my control. I've learned to let go a lot. I've learned to tidy up a lot of the inner noise that was more negative and create more positive narratives or positive things where my mind thinks. Okay, so I think on some levels you can create meaning with the mind in terms of going from a negative to a positive. However, does that lead to the deep feeling of meaning, the deep feeling of you're connected to what you're doing? Or do you discover that? By discover, I mean, does it happen a bit more organically? Does it happen by life just unfolding? And you're like, rather than you planning stuff, thinking things through, trying to manufacture meaning, does meaning come from discovery? Does it come from just being in the moment you're in fully, and then life giving you the next step, and you find a meaning on that pursuit? And this is why I'm not sure what the answer is. I think it's going to be a combination of the mind creating meaning, but then also you interacting with life. So when I say discover, I mean you're showing up in the world, you're taking action, which we all are anyway, but you're taking aligned action, at least aligned action in that moment. You take the next step, what you think is real for you. So for me, at the moment, it's shooting these videos. I take that next step, and then I will discover, I will hopefully discover more meaning from the feedback I get from that. The feedback of, oh, this feels good, this doesn't feel as good, this feels like the next step after that, and discovering meaning. So rather than sitting and writing out a 1-year plan, or I'm gonna find meaning this way, I'm gonna do this, and try to plan meaning, I feel I've got an internal feel that you have to discover it through participating in life, through daily actions, and seeing what comes back. And this is a challenge because the mind doesn't like leaving things to the outside world and leaving things to chance. If you look at your mind, when do you get most stressed? When does your mind get most active? Often when we're overloaded or we don't know about the future, we're uncertain. Let's say you don't know where the money's coming from to pay the bills. Let's say you don't know what's going to happen in a big important event that's coming up in your life. It creates a lot of negative or inner turmoil, so to speak. So when I say, you're going to discover meaning just by showing up in the world and take the next action, or at least this is how I'm trying to do it, the mind goes, whoa, this is risky. What happens if you don't? Wait a second, can we slow it down a bit? Can we just plan things out first? And this is where people, I think, go into overthinking, over-planning. They try to create certainty with the mind. And certainty is that kind of, I'm going to create meaning in a written, thinking form to allow myself to not run into uncertainty. I think the mind can fall into traps of trying to protect you from the fact that it doesn't know. It doesn't have the answers. It's not a mind game. I don't think meaning is a mind game. Like I said, I think using the mind to create meaning and override negative narratives has a place. It's almost like you're in a dirty house or a messy house and there's stuff everywhere. Some level of tidying up is good. There's an element with your mind's messy thoughts, negative narratives. A certain amount of cleaning up is good. But I also think it can't get you all the way. It can't get you to feel that purposeful connection to your life, because I feel like that has to be more of a discovery and more of a moment-to-moment thing. And the mind can't live in moment-to-moment. All right, I could go deep into this one, but I'll save this for another topic because it'll end up being too long. But the mind doesn't like to live in the moment. All right, if you're living in the moment, your mind would be very quiet. Think about that for a second, which is funny because I'm telling you to get into the mind. But reflect on that at some point for yourself over the next 24 hours. When you're in the moment most fully, your mind is quiet. And by mind, I mean personal mind. the narrator minds, do this, this is good, oh, why did I do that for? Why is this happening? That constant voice in your mind. That's quiet when you're present. So the question becomes, how do we create more space? The question for myself is how to create more space to discover meaning. How do I quieten the mind a bit? How do I take enough action that I get enough feedback that I can see if I'm taking the right steps or course correct if I need to? And yeah, I feel like this is a tough topic because I'm going down an avenue here where even as I'm speaking on it, my mind wants to tie it up all neatly, create a nice little bow around it, and make it sound action step orientated, when in reality, discovery for me isn't that. It's not necessarily action steps, although it requires taking action. It's showing up fully now. It's shooting this video and being done with it. And then I'll move on to another video, do another one tomorrow. And that in itself's enough. But the mind doesn't like that. The mind likes to go, well, why are you doing this? What's going to be next? Is it worth it? And create a lot of narratives. So I'm just trying to experiment with leaning into allowing myself to discover, taking enough action that I can see what the next step would be to, participate in life fully and not worry that the mind doesn't have it all figured out. Guys, let me know if this related to you. This was quite a challenging topic for me to reflect on today as I've went into it, but I have circled around it a few times in my own mind, so I wanted to speak it out. And yeah, hopefully there's something in here for someone watching, listening. Let me know in the comments if you took something away from this, and I'll explore the next avenue tomorrow.